This is how it.
Whoa! What are you guys doing there? Here on a Wednesday night.
I didn't see you there.
What are you doing here, man?
On a Wednesday.
Why are you in my house?
Hey, actually, we drop on Wednesday, and they're here on Wednesday.
Yeah.
For a change.
Yeah.
Instead of Sunday.
Yeah. You usually you make us do all the work, but we're gonna work for you today. We're gonna record this episode the day that 2 episodes ago have come out. I hope that makes sense.
I think what you're trying to say is that exactly 2 weeks from when you're listening to this, because I know you listen to it the day it drops.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, we got a little bit of wine in our bellies, a little bit more sense in our heads, you know?
Yeah.
A lot more funny in our mouths.
You know, the thing about wine, they call it the lip loosener.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm definitely looser tonight than I've ever been.
Like the most loose?
Yeah, my lips just open, moist,
Sesame?
loose, but they'll close up on you real quick, you know? Gotcha. I don't even bite you with my teeth. I bite you with my lips.
Your lips have teeth, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm like a salamander or something.
Ugh, like that horrible movie that I never saw?
Oh, you're talking about teeth. That's a crazy-ass movie. Yeah, it's a crazy movie.
I only heard of it.
By the way, welcome back to IDIOTSYNCRATIC. Just in case you didn't know where the hell you are right now, you're with us.
Now you know. If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know, man. So, pour yourself a glass of wine.
Sit back.
This is a nice Wednesday night. Beautiful weather outside. Beautiful weather all day. Just an overall nice, relaxing day.
Yeah, if you're local here in Texas, then we had some really weird weather, but now it's finally back to spring here in the spring.
Yep. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's finally spring in spring. Yeah, that's Texas.
Yep.
So, I'm your boy. I'm your man. I'm a daddy. Justyn Gomez.
He's your daddy.
I'm the host for today's episode.
Who's your daddy? It's that guy over there.
Big episode 25.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're a third of the way to 3/4 of the way to 100.
We're a quarter of the way. It's actually 1/4.
No, we're a third of the way to 3/4 of the way.
Oh shit! I thought you messed
to
up.
100.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, look at that.
Yeah.
See, the wine is slowing me down a little bit, but you know,
Slow me down
slowing
now,
me down just a
tone
little
it
bit.
down.
But now I get what you're saying, my man. Yeah, big episode 25.
Stay with me.
And with me is, I would rather have nobody else in this world next to me for this podcast besides
It's gonna make my cheeks red.
him right there. You see him? Yeah, that's him. Mr. Alex Pseudo.
It's a me,
It's a him.
the demigod.
And again, we're back today with big ass episode 25.
Yeah, 25.
And what we're going to be talking about in today's episode is big, loud wood.
Which means, I don't know. I tried to guess it earlier.
No
but
more guesses?
All I could think of was gay erections.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't thinking of gay erections. I was,
No, it's out there.
well, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're not thinking of gay erections, you're probably gay.
Oh yeah, because you're in the closet.
Yeah.
Because you're trying so hard to not think of it.
Yeah.
Whenever
You're like, oh,
Let's be
those
honest,
sweet succulent dicks, you know.
that's where it's going.
And then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Those sweet succubus dicks.
The sweet succubus. Yeah, they get you. They grab you and they get you. They suck the life out of you.
Drag me to hell. Am I
As
right?
you're sucking the life out of them, you know.
Oh, it's like a 69 of hell.
69 of hell. Holy shit, that sounds terrifying.
Well, did you hear what you just said?
I don't hear half the shit I say. I noticed.
Me neither, but it was something about sucking the life out of each other.
Oh yeah, now I remember. I've noticed that I guess the older I get, the looser my mouth has become, and the more often than not, my brain decides to shut itself off.
Yeah, just
as
takes a
that's all
backseat.
happening. Yeah, I just kind of just ride the wave.
It's along for the ride.
Let's just see where this goes.
It just sticks its head out of the figurative sunroof of the limousine.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, all right, here we go. And it pops back in. It's like, what the hell?
It's like, yippee.
Yeah.
It's like, brain on some other shit.
And then it pops back in and it's like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
And then
it's like, brain, need a Sprite.
And then I end up in HR.
Oh, yeah.
You should have been there, brain.
HR.
You should have been there. And you're talking
They're
about...
like, what were you thinking when you said that?
I was like, what?
And you're like, brain on some other shit.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Lil Dicky.
Ah, man. I gotta listen to his stuff.
You didn't listen to it?
I've listened to his stuff, but I think you just showed me like the singles.
Okay.
I know.
That's okay.
That's all right. Well, I mean, I am talking about Big Loud Wood, so it might be gay.
Are you going to go first and tell me about it?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. You're talking about scholaring, which we figured out is about Pseudo.
It's about Skuru.
And just in general, just school.
Skuru. Yeah.
You're talking about elementary school, secondary, primary, advanced API. You're talking about special ed. You're talking about remedial math.
English as a second language.
Hey, did you have
remedial math?
Did you have AP classes and remedial classes?
No, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we could start there.
There you go.
That's a good place to start. So actually, it's not a good place to start. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's take a trip back to the 2000s.
Wait, hold on. I actually have a soundbite for that. That's not the right soundbite. It's just close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm an adult. I'm almost 30. And I'm just looking back on life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thinking about school.
Yeah.
And what is school? It's a weird thing, man.
What even be school, you know?
What be it, bro? And especially watching Terrace House because you know how they're all Japanese and they have just a totally different culture?
Yeah.
And it seems like they care many much more about it.
Yeah, that latest bomb you dropped on us on Big Episode 23 was that apparently they are just like riding each other's dicks about their future and
about
how
succeeding and
stuff. Yeah. And I guess ensuring that they attain their career goals.
Full potential.
Yeah.
Oh my G though, there was like this heart tugging moment yesterday where we're at.
Did that chick buy her boyfriend
in
more
our
meat?
binging? No.
How many episodes are there, by the way?
Well, on this season, it was like a whole season, and then they extended it. But it's kind of cheating because people keep leaving, and then new members are coming, and so they're like staggering like just random members.
It's like the damn Temptations.
Yeah, I guess. Talking about my girl.
My girl.
Oh no, but so one of the dudes there who's like the most hardworking. Mm-hmm. Basically, like everybody looks up to him because he's like super wise and like just a cool, down to earth guy.
Hey.
He got real close to the American guy, right, who's from Hawaii, and they were talking about how he was saying, well, because you know they're kind of having that conversation about like what do you want to do in life and stuff like that, and the American guy was like, if I can support my family, and every day I can do what I love and come home to my family. It's like, that's all I need. I don't need anything more than that.
That's great. And I keep trying to push the image of him like just busting in the door going, I'm big American guy. I'm trying to push that out of my head and just listen to what you have to say.
Well, he mostly just looks Persian.
Yeah, he does. You snapped him to me.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. You're like, that's the American guy. I was like, bitch.
Yeah, he's the American guy.
Big American.
Well, no, because he's half Japanese, half
Hawaiian.
Persian.
Oh.
No, half Persian.
Oh.
But he grew up until he was like 10 in Japan, and then they moved to Hawaii.
Does he speak fluent English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Japanese. And I think he said he speaks a little bit of Persian too.
The guy's a jack of all spades.
I know, right? He jacks off a lot. No, I don't know. I don't know if he does or not.
He's American.
I forget the point that I'm making though. Oh no, but the Japanese guy was like, I can appreciate your way of thinking. Basically, like it's not my way of thinking, but he was like that's really cool. He's like, that makes a lot of sense. Like and then a couple episodes later, he's like, leaving the house. That guy was right, and they were like, man, it was It was a tearjerker, but that has nothing to do with my topic, my interest. What are you doing?
I'm listening.
No, you're not.
We said something that I was like episode title, so I'm just writing it down so I don't
Shit.
forget. Yeah.
All right.
We were like dicks.
Okay, so when I was in high school. Oh yeah, so just so you guys know, I don't like tooting my horn, but I'm basically like a genius. I'm like almost a genius. Or I was when I got tested.
Mm-hmm.
I like missed being a genius by like 2 IQ points. Or I forget.
So you like 138? So I think 140 is genius.
I don't know, but
Yeah. Or it's like 140 or like 1700 trillion.
yeah.
One of those.
But I never really gave a shit,
Yeah.
and I was always just having fun, you know.
Yeah. Spoken like a true IQer.
Yeah, what is it? Maybe. So when I was in high school, I didn't think about where I wanted to go to college or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
And
I think that also, I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but I think that also speaks to the state of education in America, and especially within certain pockets of America. There wasn't anybody that I knew growing up and going to school with that was ever concerned with their education or their career path.
yeah,
And I feel like maybe in your area too is kind of like that.
yeah, it kind of was. There definitely was people who were doing all the shit they needed to do. They're getting their extracurriculars. You know, they were sending off letters their junior year, and that shit wasn't me, man. When I was in high school, I just always kind of had this idea that whatever happened, it would be all right, and it didn't really matter what I did, you know. And I don't regret that actually, but you know, maybe some stuff would have been cool had I buckled down a little more.
I'm with you.
And I try to pass that on to people, like, you know, people that I kind of sort of mentor. But it's one of those things that you just got to do yourself. Like, you can't really tell somebody
No.
about life experience. You can't put it in their head. You know?
I think it's also like rehab. You know, you can't properly convey why somebody should decide to get clean.
Yeah.
It will not work unless that person decides for themselves.
Yeah, unless they want to.
And I feel like the benefit of higher education and just taking your education seriously falls in that exact same category.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many people in my life that told me, much older than me, that told me, focus on your education because you're going to need it later, no matter how many people told me that, didn't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
Not unless I decided to do that myself.
Yeah. And for me, I knew that, but I didn't care.
Really?
Yeah. I just was gonna live life on my own terms, you know, and I did. And the reason I don't regret it looking back is because like I am where I am and I am who I am because of the decisions that I made, and you know that sort of shaped me. You know, like I never would have met you. You know what I mean?
You're right.
If I went away to college.
By the same token, I never would have met you.
There you go.
The reason that I chose not to go to any sort of college, I chose not to buckle down on anything was because I was going to be a
musician.
rock star. I was going to be a musician, world renowned, touring my entire life, you know, that paying the bills and just playing music for the rest of my life. And I devoted every spare inch of my time to that. And if I didn't do that, the Hollow Empire never would have started. You and I probably never would have met.
Yeah, so we wouldn't be here recording this.
Yeah.
Weird.
Idiosyncratic would never have existed if you and I
Weird.
didn't, I don't know, I guess, choose to follow our own path, our own ideas of what we should be.
Yeah, for sure. And like I was one of the only people that I knew that actually liked high school.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in high school. So yeah, when
I
I
mean,
was
you were popular though, right?
Yeah, I wasn't like the most popular. I wasn't like the coolest kid in school, but you know, I was fairly popular. I guess I was cool with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I knew a lot of people. I was cool with popular people, I guess. Um, but everybody I knew was like, I can't wait to get out of this hellhole and stuff like that.
Senioritis?
Yeah, senioritis, yeah. And I guess I kind of did have senioritis because I used to like sleep in almost all my classes.
Yeah.
I would go to school and sleep, but like I had a blast while I was there, and I knew that it was finite. And so while it was happening, I was like, I'm just gonna live in this moment, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know about having responsibilities yet, but looking back, it's almost like I did know that eventually I'm gonna have responsibilities. I'm gonna have to go to work. I'm gonna have bills and stuff like that. And so
why not enjoy it now?
exactly. So that's what I did, you know. And even like wrestling, which is I think wrestling was like the first thing I found that was solely mine, that I was like just naturally gifted at, because I was really good at baseball, but that was kind of like me and my dad's thing, and I think I kind of got it from my dad, right? But like I didn't get wrestling from anybody, you know. It was like something that I tried on my own, and everything clicked, and I was just good at it, and I just loved it. And I treated wrestling about as bad as I treated school, you know. Like I quit once a year that I wrestled, and you know I did some atrocious things, such as so there's something called a dual meet, which is like school versus school, right? So you
Dual meet?
yeah, a
Okay.
dual meet. So, or a duel, you know. But so you basically have a lineup of the weight classes of each school. So on varsity, there's 103, there's 125, 135. Like, you know, you have one varsity guy at each weight class.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like your lineup. And so a dual meet is like school versus school. And for each match, there's like a certain amount of points depending on how the match goes that each school will get. And so at the end, the school with the most points wins, right? And so if somebody just isn't at that weight class, then obviously it's a forfeit. So your school automatically loses a bunch of points. And I actually skipped a dual meet one time just to I think I just wanted to hang out with my girlfriend or something.
There you go.
So that was the kind of guy I was.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
The kind of so, just kind of touching on yours from my point of view, the kind of guy that I wasn't a popular kid in school or anything. I don't even think that I was known in any regard until my band played at the school, and then I was the drummer. So I was the drummer.
You're that little drummer boy.
I was the drummer before I was a human being. You know what I mean? Nobody knew my name.
Well, hopefully by default, a drummer is a human being.
Yeah,
I guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, a monkey can play drums.
That's very true.
Sorry, but a monkey can't play guitar. Just saying.
Bitch, I'm tired. Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah. So like, I never had the fortune of being able to enjoy the moment because I hated every moment of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of it growing up, you know, from elementary through your formative years in middle school, I was picked on a lot for being the white kid. You know what I mean?
Mexican kid.
Yeah, because you know I grew up in Irving, which is a Mexican majority, and
Irving, Texas.
And the first time I heard, I think I was like in kindergarten. They were like, some kids called me white boy, and I was like, what? Because you know how I grew up.
Yeah.
Like, you know my family. Yeah, you know my family. So
that's
the first time that I had ever considered that I looked different than other people.
Yeah, you thought you were Mexican.
I have always been Mexican, you know.
Yeah.
So the first time they said it, I was like, what? And then like they started excluding me from stuff and just picking on me basically, and I was like, what? And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh shit, I do look different than these. I do look like a white boy now that I think about it. And that went up, you know, through elementary. I get picked on all the time for it. Middle school, like I had my head split open in middle school. Some kids.
You had your wig split?
I had my wig split, yeah.
If you were?
Yeah, Mexican kids threw a rock at the back of my head to split my head open. Just because.
Oh, that might have been me.
Oh, shit. Are you
I'm
serious?
just kidding. I used to be dangerous with rocks, though.
No, yeah. And, I mean, I've been jumped probably more times than I can count. You name it. Just and it's always been based on the color of my skin. And then there was, what was it, like 7th or 8th grade, the year that I had enough and just
Started fighting.
flip my shit, dude, and just from there on, nobody would pick on me again. I would not allow people to pick on me, and I would get in scraps just about every year, all the damn time. So most of my, especially my high school years, were
ISS.
ISS, RAC. They call it RAC, but that was our alternative school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of those years were spent basically on edge, waiting for just some random person to throw some hands at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the time. And yeah, it wasn't fun. And like that was only one portion of just the school system for me. Other than that, I remember specifically walking into the principal's office, and they were doing like this weird career day type thing. And the secretary, she was like, what college are you going to? And I was like, well, I'm not going to college. And she's like, well, you have to go to college. I'm like, well,
nah.
Yeah, I was like, well, first of all, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to put myself in debt just for a piece of paper, for some extra, or some higher form of education for a career path that I choose not to follow. I want to be a musician, and I want to do that for the rest of my life. She goes, well, if you want to be a musician, you got to go to college. And I was like, you are 100% wrong right now. And then after that, I got written up and sent to the principal's office because she complained about me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was just shit like that.
My God. I got sent to the principal's office one time because of Natalie.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But we had a substitute teacher. Yeah. It was sorry, I'll make this quick. We had a substitute teacher, and we had a class together, and we sat next to each other. And I don't even know what we were doing, but I think what happened? I think we were like moving a pen back and forth or something, or like a pencil. Mm-hmm. But
you take it.
Yeah, no, I think I needed a pencil or something, and I didn't have one. So like I grabbed her pencil and put it like by my paper, like this is my pencil now. Mm-hmm. But like we weren't talking or anything. And then so she grabbed it and took it back, like, no, this is my pencil. And then I was just like, and then I took it and put it back by my paper. Mm-hmm. And then the substitute teacher comes and takes the pencil and walks away. And I was like, can I have that back? I need that. And he was like, no, you're being disruptive and playing with it. And I was like, we weren't trying to, but I could just stop.
I could just stop.
And he was like, no,
it's too late.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, basically, he's like, no, you're being disruptive. So
yeah, I
don't know what to tell you. I was like, because I was like, how am I gonna do my work now? He's like, I don't know what to tell you. And then I was like, all you had to do was tell me to stop, and I would have stopped. I wasn't being loud. It wasn't making a bunch of noise. We weren't slamming it on the table.
That's true. Yeah,
we were just kind of like, and so he took it away, and I was like, can I have it back? I need it,
Yeah. Well, you're like, bitch, I'm courting her right now.
Nah, I guess so. But he was like,
said that.
But he was just like, no. And then I was like, well, can I have your name? I'm gonna fucking like write a strongly worded email kind of thing. And he pulled out a fucking office slip and just filled it out. He was like, gave it to me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
is your name on this?
I didn't say like, are you fucking kidding me? But he gave me the office slip, so I was like, what the hell? So I went to
that's the pink one, right? The pink slip.
Yeah. And so I was thinking like, I'm just gonna explain what happened, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah,
he was in the wrong.
That's a misunderstanding. No. And they're just gonna send me back to class, and they're just gonna be like, hey, just don't push his buttons anymore. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
And the freaking vice principal ripped my asshole open, and she was like, do you know how hard it is to get substitute teachers to come up here because of kids like you and blah, blah, blah. And she just started freaking ripping me to pieces. And the whole time I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. You know what I mean? I've done crazier shit in high school. I was asleep one time and I woke up where you jump.
Yeah.
But I woke up so violently that I stood up and my desk flew across the classroom.
They're like, Alex.
Yeah. My teacher was like, get in the hall. And I was like, damn it. So she just made me stand in the hall. But I'm just moving a pen a pencil back and forth, not making noise, not anything like that. And I ended up getting sent to ISS, and she was gonna give me ISS for a week.
For a week?
Yeah.
Oh, blow my brains out. Kill me.
Yeah, but you're gonna love this too.
Right.
I was also this kid, so I go home, Mom. So I start. So that happens on a Monday. Tuesday, I start in ISS, and then somebody comes and gets me. I was like, "You can go back to class."
Get that little bitch out of here.
Because my mom called and bitched her out.
There you go. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great story. I didn't have shit like that happen. Yeah, our school was notorious for just like shutting parents down. So, but I wouldn't complain to mom because I didn't want to get in trouble for it, you know, because most of the shit I was doing was to be honest because of me. Yeah, you know what I mean? There was one time in art class, I don't remember what happened, but the teacher shut me down, and in my hormonal phase, I was like, "This class sucks," and she's like, "What did you say?" And I walked up to her desk and I said, "This class sucks," and she's like, "All right, go to the office." And I was like, "Okay, cool, thanks." And I was like, I booked it out of there, and I think we skipped school like right after that, and I went straight to my house.
Went to Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah, like
fucking beer.
None of any portion of any school year was ever a serious thing to me. It was never something that you had to focus on, that you had to make sure that you got right the first time because it was important in your life. I didn't care about any of it. Not even before I decided to become a musician. I didn't care. None of my I don't know. It never occupied my brain space as something that was important to me.
Same here, man. For whatever reason, I think me being smart actually was a detriment to me. It made me even lazier.
Yeah.
And I know that's not an excuse at all, though, because there was this dude who in middle school was like my rival, and he was like equally as smart as me, but he worked hard. He fucking worked hard. Yeah. And I just didn't, you know. And he was like our valedictorian for our senior class or whatever, you know. Yeah. But for whatever reason, man, I was just a knucklehead. So, and like you wanted to talk about the math. They started me my high school math when I was in the 6th grade, and so I took freshman algebra in the 6th grade, and then geometry in the 7th, and then algebra 2 in the 8th grade, and then freshman year pre-calculus. So my sophomore year of high school, I had all the credits I need to graduate for math, and so I didn't sign up for math. And then they called me to the counselor, and they're like, "You have to sign up for a math class." And I was like, "Why? I have enough credits." And they're like, "Yeah, but when you go to college, you don't want it to be rusty, and so we recommend that you take math throughout all of high school."
To say you recommend is something I understand. To say you have to is something that pisses me off.
Well, they said I recommend that you take it throughout all of high school, but they said you have to at least take it up to your sophomore year. So they forced me to take statistics. And so I basically forcefully failed it. Yeah, I just went and slept every day because I was like, "You're gonna force me to take this class that I don't even need," you know?
Why? How do any I don't know? How do any educational professionals think that is a good idea to force kids to go to classes that they, number one, do not need to go to, and number two, do not want to go to because none of this applies. You know what I mean? That kind of shit, the whole "because I say so" mentality has never worked for anything.
Anybody, yeah. For sure, man. For sure.
I got a lot of anger at just the education system just in general.
I know. I think it's a big bull huggy thing, but
which is unfortunate because education is such a beautiful thing to begin with. You know, it's inherently something that everybody should seek.
We're jumping ahead to what I wanted to get into.
Oh shit!
I wanted to end on that.
Oh, that's why you and I run this podcast together. Okay, well, same wavelength.
If I forget later, remind me.
I'll try. But I got a few of these little wine babies in me.
Wine babies? Are they twins?
That was the weirdest thing I probably ever said.
Nope.
It's not?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's not even close.
Yeah.
No, but they turned out to be right as far as going to college, because I'm this mathematical genius, right? And after 4 years of not doing any math and just wrestling and playing guitar and only what I wanted to do, I go to TCC because obviously my GPA is low as fuck, because I've blatantly failed a bunch of classes because I had so many credits early on that I was just like, fuck all this other shit.
It's at a protest, kind of.
Almost, yeah. Me just being a knucklehead. Yeah. So I didn't have to take an ACT or SAT because my tax scores were so high that
tax, dude.
Yeah, so my tax scores were so high that they're just like, okay, you're fine. But they're like, but you have to take a math placement test so we know what math you need to do.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'm a mathematical genius. This should be no problem. So they come back and tell me that I have to take remedial math.
There you go. They should have given you a class on arrogance.
They should. That was a lesson in arrogance. Yeah. It really was. It was like, I'm this mathematical genius, and I have to take remedial math now. But
you and me both, my friend.
I never learned my lesson because you want to know why?
Did you fail remedial math?
I still haven't taken it.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
To this day, I haven't started on my math courses because of that. And it actually led to a kind of an insider joke that I say all the time, but I forgot the exact setup. My buddy listens to this, and he'll probably fill me in as soon as he hears, because he was there. But because we were making a joke about it, because I was like, I haven't even taken math or something, and then so we started just using it as a way for calling somebody dumb. Because like right after we were talking about that, we were at this girl's house and we were talking to her mom. It was like a group of us. It was like 4 dudes or something like that. And her mom was talking about college or something, and she said something like really dumb. And I forgot which one of us said it, but one of us was like, "Oh, you didn't take math, did you?" And we all just busted out laughing so hard. And so that, like, to this day,
that's the joke now. Yeah.
To this day now, sometimes when people just do something really stupid, we're just like, "Oh, you didn't take math, did you?" Or like, you must have not taken math.
You must not have taken math.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like, I have 2 goldfish.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I will never forget that. Bringing you back?
I'm trying to remember, like, the origin of that one.
That was like day 2 that you and I knew each other.
For real?
Yeah. It was, let me tell the story as
you remember.
As broken as possible. So apparently, I think it was your buddy in high school. I think he was like hitting on a chick or something. And she was like, I have a boyfriend. And he goes, well, I have 2 goldfish. And she's like, what does that have to do with anything? And he goes, I thought we were talking about things that didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure it was Gabe.
Was it Gabe?
I think so, yeah.
That's super clever of him.
Yeah. He was always doing stuff like that.
That's super clever. Thought we were talking about things that didn't matter.
That's good, right?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Stuff like that always leaves a lasting impression on me, and I never forget it.
And that's one of those things that it just becomes part of my speech patterns.
Yeah.
To the point where I'll say it in like normal conversation. Yeah. And people won't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Microcosm. That's a microcosm.
But I won't even explain it, and I don't even care.
That's the shit. I've told you before that I have lost patience for just people in general, and I don't give a shit about so many things that I maybe would have given a shit about. Dude, I will drop the most inside jokes of all time on people who probably don't deserve it.
For nobody, just for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'll giggle in my head. Yeah. And I might even laugh in their faces. It doesn't matter if anybody
laughs, because you know deep down that it's funny.
I don't give a shit. If it's funny to me, I'm going to laugh. Yeah. If I don't laugh just in my head, I'm going to laugh in their faces.
And I know specifically with the 2 goldfishes thing, I've literally dropped it on people, and then, like,
there was a point
they're talking, and I'm like, oh, I have 2 goldfish. And they're like, huh? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah, there were a few. There were over the years, a few times that both of us had, like, we would do it in front of each other to other people, and we'd look at each other and just, like, laugh about it,
Dude, that's our life now, man, when we go out.
Yeah, if you don't get it, you probably never will. And that's almost funnier than the joke itself to me.
Yeah, it is kind of elitist and douchey.
It's diabolical.
Now that we're talking about it, I kind of feel like a dick.
We sound terrible, but I can't for the life. I can't care about it. It's just funny.
It would take too much time, and also it's not funny if I have to tell you about it. It's only funny if you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you said that to somebody, and it was totally hilarious, and you laughed to yourself, and then they're like, "What?" And then you explain it to them, then it'd be like,
"Oh, okay.
Oh, I guess that's kind of funny."
Yeah.
But it's like if they already knew about it and they heard it, then they're like,
I kind of feel like Eminem when it comes to comedy now, because over the course of his albums, you can hear him going from the standard type of rap to his latest album, which is every single line is a tongue twister, and the rhymes are in each line, but not where they're supposed. Like, you can tell the man is building puzzles with everything that he says.
Yeah.
I feel like the same exact way with comedy.
You know what math rock is?
I do.
I feel like he's math rap.
He's math rap for sure, absolutely. I feel like I've gotten to the point where the only thing that's funny to me is math comedy.
Math comedy.
The funniest thing in the world to me. You like that?
That's fantastic.
The funniest thing in the world to me is dropping a joke that nobody else
so strategically crafted
would possibly get or understand.
It's just mint.
And that in and of itself is the punchline to me, that they just don't get it.
Hey,
it's so demented.
That's something I used to say in high school. Some of it was a very small group of people, but we used to say, like, when something's badass, we'd be like, bro, it was mint.
It was mint?
Yeah.
What the hell did we... Off the Chain was in middle school. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I drew a pair of fat farms jumping off of a chain.
Oh, dude, you know, another thing in high school that I tried to get going, but it never went anywhere.
What was it?
The Spartan handshake, where you grab each other's forearms.
Yes, dude, I tried that shit too.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did.
The shit?
I really did, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. So it was only after 300 came out.
No, I was like, it's catching on because like people were doing it with me all the time. But then I started to notice that they were only doing it with me, but they weren't doing it with each other. So I was like, this isn't catching on at all.
So you just became the weird kid that the other kids had to grab their forearm, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh, don't shake the kid's hand, grab his forearm.
For the video listeners. My brother.
There it is.
Apparently that's where handshakes originated from, because now you know I'm not armed. Except I have another arm. And I might have a knife like behind me.
Yeah, he's not armed. He's too armed.
Yeah.
Also, he has feet.
I got knives on my feet, but don't call me a knife foot.
Oh.
I think we might be too drunk.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Man.
It's all good, man.
I might have to take classes in giving a shit now.
Do you at least give 2 shits?
Sometimes. Well, I know for sure we need Orajel for Orion. I give 100,000 billion shits about that. Other than that,
giving 2 shits, that leads me into my next point about stuff.
1 + 1 shits equals
2 shits.
Yeah.
Oh no, but so yeah, I tried to go to community college, and I kind of was like, you know what, I want to be a musician my whole life too. So I pretty much ignored what they said, and instead of taking all your basics first like you're supposed to in community college, I took all my music classes first, because I was like, I'm a music business major. I'm gonna do what I want first, you know?
Yep.
And
by this point you're an adult too, so you can do whatever you want.
I'm like 19 or something.
Yeah, that's an adult.
And that didn't work either, because I would drive to school and sleep in my car.
Oh my God. Hey, I remember you coming to practice and talking about like the new music theory and stuff that you heard. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was so hard.
Yeah.
Music theory was. No, but man, that's what it gave me even more appreciation for music because I feel like there's so many amazing musicians who are purely creative, and nothing against that, but there's this whole mathematical side of music that a lot of people don't know about, and it's kind of crazy. It's like the Fibonacci sequence, you know? It's like it's just surreal that there's so much order in something that is
naturally chaotic.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I know exactly what you mean. Well, I mean, think about it.
That shit's cray.
It's not a theory, but the theory of mathematics is honestly the supplement of life. You know what I mean? Everything in existence abides by mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not crazy to think that anything within the creative space, like music, would also abide by the theory of mathematics.
Yeah.
Because it does.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about even just basic music, time signatures is math.
Yep.
Yeah. The length at which you hold out your vibrato is math because you do it at the same length every single time.
Yeah, and the crazy part was people do it by feel, but
It's
if
math.
if you do it badly, people who aren't trained in music can tell.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it's in it. Well, not all people. Some people are just like colorblind when it comes to music, but it's almost inherent in most people.
yeah. I mean, okay. So even Ebbs, who is he's got terrible timing. He has no pitch whatsoever. But there have been shows that he's gone with me to, and we've both heard something and both go,
Yeah.
you know,
Ooh.
like you've seen me do it before, and I do my best not to, just out of respect. But if a drummer is offbeat, if a singer is off key, I'll immediately go.
You want to know the worst time that I can recall seeing that face of yours?
When
We played at Six Flags, and I bumped into, or Brian bumped into me, our old bass player, and we basically like slammed our headstocks together, and it threw my guitar out of tune, and I looked at you, and you were making that face, and I was like, "You bitch!"
Oh man, was I really?
Yeah, I cut off in the middle of the song because I was like, "I'm not fucking playing with this shit." I cut off and started tuning.
There you go.
And Shane looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not fucking gonna pretend like it was like straight like."
Dude, it is just holy shit, that was a good one. It is just ingrained in me to make that face if shit doesn't work out musically.
We used to look at each other all the time when we played, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I mean, we're on the same
we're
wavelength.
We're best bros even back then.
You're right, my man. You are totally right. You got any final thoughts about scholarling?
Yeah, I do. Cause this is. I realize that this is dragging, and that's why you're trying to cut me off because you're being a good host. But I could talk about this for much long time.
I can too, just out of pure hatred.
But okay, so final thoughts that I want to talk about. As a youngin, or as a young early 20s guy, I just said fuck it to school, and now I'm back as like basically an old man. I still look like a teenager, so I fit in, but I don't fit in a sense that when I go to classes and stuff, and I'm surrounded by these like actual millennials, even though I'm technically a millennial.
Millennials.
These are some fucking millennial ass dumb stupid bitches.
You're right, my man.
And it feels weird, man. It feels weird. And I'm trying to do it one class at a time, even though I'm almost 30, you know, which I guess I'm not the latest, but I'm trying to do it now, you know. And the thing I wanted to end on is that even though I do want that paper and I do, you know, want to eventually finally get my degree, I'm 100% in the business of myself, and I for sure know that I don't want to work a 9 to 5 my whole life, and I know that anything I learn in school most likely isn't going to benefit me in what I want to do, you know. Actually now I'm changing my path. I'm going to try to take more entrepreneurial classes, some business management, you know, that type of shit.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as things that I want to continue to do in life as a career, as a way to make money, I solely want it to be things that are things that I'm passionate about. So in that sense, I haven't changed from the knucklehead that was in my youth, where I thought that like the only thing I care about is music. So naturally, I'm gonna go to school for music. So now, I just realized that it'll facilitate things if I do have that piece of paper. So maybe why not work towards it, even though it's kicking my ass trying to do all these things at the same time. But so far in life, the things that have had the most rewards for me have been things that I've pursued on my own. This whole podcast is just a child of me and you having such a sporadic, like, I don't know, like interest, just, I guess it just boils down to that.
Yeah.
Like we have so many interests that I think me and you are the closest thing to a Renaissance man that I could freaking think of anybody I know, just the wide amount of things that we're into, and I think that if I'm not seeing dividends now, but I think at some point in life, like all that stuff is gonna come back, and it's gonna be something for me.
Proud of you.
That's my final thought, I guess. That's me trying to summarize a bunch of shit, but as I get drunker, my words get longer. So
proud of you.
Stop being proud of me. Gross.
I'm so sorry.
And that's all I gotta say about that.
I am proud of you. I really am. I just
what?
want you to know that, huh?
For what?
You're doing it, man.
I haven't accomplished anything yet.
You're accomplishing something. You may not have accomplished something yet, but you're accomplishing something. And I think that separates the weed from the shaft.
I got a big old shaft.
Shit. That's another episode title right there.
Oops.
You got any final thoughts on learning?
Yeah.
I forget what your thing was.
Did you say what my name is?
No, what I said. I forget what your thing was.
Yeah, my final thoughts. Taking steps.
Sir.
Not often taken.
Sir.
Often involves much more steps than would normally have been taken had they been taken already. Oftentimes, the steps taken by those who took them aren't as takeful as the ones taken that haven't been taken by the takers. But in regard to those who will be taken, I have a very special set of skills, and I didn't get those by going to college.
Are you going to kill me?
And that's all I got to say about that, dog.
Oh, no. Well, don't kill me, because it's time to hop into my interessante.
Oh, let's hear it. I'll kill you after.
Talking about big, loud wood, my man.
Yeah, tell me about it, and I'll probably kill you in the morning.
Oh, no. I'm talking about custom drum companies.
The big loud wood is your sticks.
No, the big loud wood is my drums is.
But isn't your drums made of like sheepskin or something?
Nope, they're made of...
The drum heads?
They're made of maple. So my drums are a little bit different, but...
Plexiglass?
Kind of, yeah. Mine are...
Acrylic?
Maple, yeah. Maple and acrylic.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've got a, what you call a hybrid kit. It's a maple/acrylic kit. But the reason that I chose big ass loud warm wood, I think that's what my thing was, is because the industry standard for all drums is wood. Most of the time it's maple. And the reason for that is because it's just a warm...
It's hard.
It's hard. It's long. It's veiny.
Yeah.
It's a warm, loud.
The tone is delicious.
It really is. If you do maple right, oh my god, it's a warm, loud, delicious sound.
Even for guitars.
Yeah. Maple's really good for guitars
Les Pauls
too.
are made with maple, most of them.
Yeah, I've noticed ashwood sounds pretty cool too in certain instances. Like, yeah,
it's a little more bassy, I guess.
This is the coolest thing about different types of wood is that they have completely different sounds. So
Yeah, they have personalities.
You're 100% right about that. Like I said, the industry standard is maple, and that kind of transcends all wood instruments. You know,
I'm so happy you're doing a friggin' drumming interest.
it's been a while, right?
I forgot you're a drummer.
So again, my kit is maple and acrylic. So that just kind of shows you that you can do more than just wood, but there's a lot to say about an all wood kit, specifically an all maple kit. And it's not just because it's the industry standard, it's because maple is
expensive.
Actually, I think maple might be cheaper than the others. It's so like readily available, but it's just that's kind of the good thing. Like that's the best thing about the consumer and the business model for this type of wood is that it's so readily available and it sounds so damn good to begin with. So I've got 3 kits. I've got my my AJP custom drums, which I really do want to go into just custom drum companies on this. My AJP custom drums kit that I've had for like 3 years now or something. And again, that's maple and acrylic. Acrylic is a certain type of plastic, and it's a very durable, very harmonious type of plastic.
I think because I'm not a scientist, is possible, bro. Scientifical. But I think acrylic, specifically, as far as plastic goes, I guess if you took like a microscopic
image
cross frame of acrylic, the units are very small and uniform. So tone wise, it makes for like a good even
a better distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even fathom if that's true or not, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something weird about the material known as acrylic, just because it almost functions as a wood.
Yeah,
you know
it's like
what I mean?
the vibranium of plastic.
It 100% is. So, and that's the only reason why I chose acrylic and maple for my special custom kit, is because they both sound so damn good in their own rights that I was just like, all right, well, let's just put these bad boys together and see how it sounds. And my kit sounds so damn good. Even after these 3 or so years I've had it, I'm still madly in love with it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful kit. You can see it right here. That's me on it right there. That's me putting my dick inside the kit because I love it so much.
Is it really? Are you going to put an actual image of that?
Should I take one for this episode? It comes out in 2 weeks. I have time.
You have time. You
have
do.
time.
That is soka.
Yeah. So.
Sodayo.
Yeah, with a lot of these custom drum companies, they tend to focus a lot on acrylic just because it's a really cool material. Like I said, it sounds really good. Nothing is ever going to match the sound of an all wooden kit, especially a maple kit. But acrylic is completely clear plastic.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Another cool feature of acrylic versus wood is that visually you can get some really crazy looking kits because you can see through acrylic.
Just like this water bottle right here.
Just like that water bottle.
Yeah. You see it through it. Your custom drum companies, they can dye the acrylic.
Yeah.
They can wrap it. They can do whatever the hell they want with acrylic. And just, you can customize it as much as possible in terms of color, patterns, pictures, paintings, you name it. You can do whatever.
Shape.
Yeah, shape.
You can laser cut it. You can die cut it.
Yeah, shape is another like weird thing that I kind of want to touch on because there are like
like oblong,
octagon kits.
Yeah.
So they're shaped in with 8 sides instead of being like the normal spherical shape.
Yeah, I've seen those and
they're so weird, man.
I remember that I wanted to ask you about those, but I forgot until just now because we haven't talked about drums forever.
I would never have one just because I think getting heads for that would be the biggest bitch in the world. You got any octagon heads?
So true, but what I was wanting to ask you is, have you ever heard a live version of
An octagon kit?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, not in
So-
person, but yeah,
Well-
I've researched it. Yeah.
tonally? Is there any difference?
Not really.
Okay.
That's another thing about acrylic. Most of them are acrylic, and that's because acrylic.
Yeah. Good luck making a fucking octagon
out of wood. Yeah, and that's also because acrylic it's pretty uniform. You know, just because it's a manufactured material, so
Yeah.
it's pretty uniform. You can pick whatever shape you want to.
It's made by the sons of man.
It is, and it's going to sound in the same vein, but I mean, and granted, you know, even the professional monitors that I have right here, you can't really hear the difference between an octagon-shaped kick drum and just a regular spherical-shaped kick drum. But a lot of custom drum companies will focus on on acrylic just because you can
Aesthetics.
It's aesthetics. You can literally customize it to however you want it to look. But what I really wanted to focus on was just that good old-fashioned wood
Tone.
Yeah, dude, just oh my god, the tone of a maple kit. So again, my kit itself is an acrylic slash maple. But when Pseudo Future went to go record our latest album, which we're finishing up right now, I decided to use my kit in the studio for the very first time in my life. I've been recording albums for about a decade now, and this is the one time I decided to use my own kit. The only condition being I wanted a maple snare, because my snare is brass, which will cut through any sound you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, it's overpowering a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not volume wise. Well, for sure volume wise, depending on how it's mic'd. But
Yeah,
tonally, it's
sharp.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know about EQing and stuff, but the high end of the spectrum with the brass snare it's very much there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah, so I mainly had that snare customized for me as a brass snare, really just to cut through the live setting, because there's a lot that can get muddied when you're playing live.
For sure.
When you got the bass going, you got the guitars going. Yeah,
It's a wall of sound.
If the audience can't hear the snare, they don't know where
To clap.
they don't. Man, that's a whole nother interest for a whole nother day for sure. Yeah, they won't know where the beat. They won't know where the uptick is. But for that album, I was like, I need a maple snare, which I don't have, and there's a very specific reason for that. Is because there's such a human, soulful tone to it. And that might sound pretentious, but if you're into music at all, and if you're into the craft of creating music, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There is I don't know, almost soulful tone to maple.
It's warm.
It's definitely warm. It's also loud in an analog sense. So you know how acrylic is a manufactured material. Well, maple is a natural material. So there's a certain analog, true to life tone that goes along with that.
Right.
And there are a lot of custom drum companies that are focusing their main advertisements and their main mantra on wooden kits. So the drum company that I decided to go with. So before I decided to purchase my kit, I would use just like your standard. Like I have an OCDP kit, which is I think it's an Ashwood kit. So it's big, like bombastic, loud, super thin wood. It just sounds bigger than it should sound. You know what I mean? But it's kind of for fun, I guess. I mean, I don't really know what you use it for. I use it for practice just because it just sounds like a big kit.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever known of the. I guess I couldn't tell you anything about an Ashwood kit because if I've heard one before, I wasn't aware of it, so I can't like speak to it.
Yeah, imagine a kit that sounds 50 times bigger than any kit you've heard before.
Well, that's kind of hard too because any kit that you play already is bigger because
I beat the shit out of those drums.
Yeah, you do.
I beat the shit out of those drums.
Like almost too much.
Yeah, I've been told that before. I'm banned from.
Yeah, no.
What was it called? The Bone Dog.
We got kicked out of a venue. Not kicked out, but we got told that like to not come back.
Yeah.
When we were playing.
What's it called? Like it's like the Bone Dog.
It was someplace in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Fort Worth, Texas.
They said they said don't come back as long as you have that drummer.
Yeah.
Bitch, let me do my craft.
Which to people who don't know music, that might sound like oh, you're being too loud. Drummer.
Yeah.
But for Justyn, it's
passion. It's just pure
next level.
It's just pure passion.
How many times have you cut your hands open doing rim shots?
Oh, I can't even describe it. Yeah, I've got scars.
How many
all over
rim
my hands.
jobs have you cut your tongue on?
Yeah, I can't even describe it. I just love licking ass. So
licking ass, taking names.
Yeah. So that OCDP kit that I have is, like I said, it's Ashwood, big, huge, bombastic sound.
You down with OCP? Yeah, you know
me. You know me, my man. I also have a full acrylic kit. It's a crush kit too, which again, it's like the closest plastic to a maple sound. So it's decently. It's like if you were to hear like the most warm MP3 of a vinyl record that you have. You know what I mean? Like it's so close to being the real thing.
Like you can tell it's digital, but it's a giant file size.
Yes, that's exactly what it. Yeah, it's like a giant MP4 of a record. You know. Yeah. So that's basically what acrylic is. So it's really damn close to the real thing.
Yeah.
And then I've got, like I said, my AJP kit, which combines the two. It combines the maple, which is, in my opinion, the best sounding wood out there for drums, and the acrylic. But there are a lot of companies out there now that are focusing more on the wood side of it. I used to have a pearl kit that was a birch kit, which is a more controlled sound, which is much better for the studio. Mm-hmm. Because in the studio, if you bring a maple kit in there, you're going to be spending a lot of time cutting down a lot of the overtones, which are just natural. But a birch kit is much more. It's almost like a silencer for overtones, so it's much more controlled. You're really hitting the bullseye of the tone that you want with a birch kit. And I used to play that shit live, and it never cut through like I wanted it to.
Right.
So I would beat the shit out of it. And I think that's really where I got it from, was trying to make this thing sound like a maple kit.
Yeah.
But you know, by nature, it just was not that sound that I wanted.
Yeah.
There are a shit ton of other woods that a lot of these custom drum companies are trying out, which is it's a cool thing. You could go to Pearl or DW or D-Drum or Sonar, or you name it, whatever giant drum company in the world, and you can get a straight off the conveyor belt kit that is going to sound good, but you're never going to get the kit of your dreams, you know. And the cool thing about these custom drum companies is that they will do shit that you have never even thought of. There was one,
or anything you can think of.
Exactly. There was one company that decided to. I think they bought this. God, it's like a 6,000-year-old tree or something. It's basically driftwood at this point, and it had fallen over.
It's like Brazilian rosewood. And
yeah, it's like some sort. It was just like
and shit.
Basically, yeah. They bought it. They cut it up into veneer, and they made, I don't remember the number, but they made a very limited number of kits out of that driftwood, and it's super sought after. It sounds very different than anything I've heard before. But that's the cool thing about it, is that these custom drum companies will do shit that you were like, what?
Yeah.
There's a really cool one too called Q Drums that specializes in like steel and aluminum drums and copper drums. I've never heard of a copper drum, and they make some of the best sounding drums I have ever heard.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is like
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Do they make the hammered? I forget what they're called, but like the
hand hammered.
What?
Hand hammered.
Hand hammered.
Yeah. So that's
okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like
Yeah.
the Caribbean sounding, like do 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 do, like the fucking,
oh,
it's like the xylophone of drums.
marimbas, something like that.
No,
I don't know.
Actually, I think it's just called a steel drum.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think they do.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like
Dun, dun, dun,
like
dun.
yeah, the different dents
Yeah.
in the drum make the head is
There's
steel.
an episode of The Office where Michael Scott comes back from Jamaica with one of those, and he's like, check it out, and he's like playing the Jamaican song or whatever. Basically, yeah, and he's just ding ding ding. Yeah. I don't know if they make those, but
That's Game of Thrones on steel drum.
they will cut these giant like sheets of whatever metal you want, specifically copper. Again, which
Vibranium.
I've never seen before. So they'll cut these giant sheets of copper.
Wakandan vibranium.
They will fold them over to the shape of a drum shell.
Copper, I hardly know her.
They will basically almost like staple them together, and then on top of all that, they will take maple rings and put them right around the very tops and the very bottoms of these shells to give them a warm tone. So the first...
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Times. By maple ring, are you saying... Wait, so on the top and bottom?
So take I'm
having trouble visualizing.
Take a strip of maple, say maybe 16 inches across, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And what they do is they'll wrap it around the inside, close to the top of the head, and then they'll do the same thing close to the bottom of the head.
Okay.
And the reason they do that,
maybe like 2 inches wide on either side, kind of.
just like that, and they'll shape it off to just. If you've ever seen the inside of a drum, it's like at a 45-degree angle, and it kind of like shapes off, and that's just so the head will have enough resonance. Both of the heads will bounce off each other and create the drum tone, basically.
Yeah.
So they'll do that with these maple rings in these copper shells. Copper, any sort of metal that you're going to put a drum head on is going to sound extremely chaotic.
Yeah.
Because it's metal. It's one of the hardest substances on this planet.
Like a steel guitar.
Just like a steel guitar. Those shit sound super weird.
Like, the only thing I can imagine it in, and maybe it's because I'm racist because of steel guitars, but...
Where's my racist button?
I can only imagine a copper kit being played in, like, some folk-ass shit, you know what I'm saying?
It's
some bluegrass type fucking...
Yeah. It's almost destructive, the way that any sort of metal can sound. But what they do to
mitigate it?
To mitigate and to control the sound is to add wood.
Yeah.
Is to add a maple, to add a birch, to add an ashwood, a basswood, you name it. Most of the time what they do is add a maple because, again, it's like the universal great tone. So they'll add those rings to the very top of of the shell and the very bottom of it. And it'll also shape it off just like it needs to be to create that 45-degree angle to allow the tone of both of the heads to bounce off of each other to create the tone of the drum.
It's crazy. It's so science. It's so physics.
Insane.
It's so physics.
Yeah.
Bro, as a craftsman, because I'm a carpenter.
Hardly know her.
I'm a former carpenter.
I former hardly know her.
Yeah, so, I mean, I fell in love with different types of hardwood.
Yeah.
When I was playing guitar, right? And then I more fell in love with it when I was carpenting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because being a carpenter can be super boring. Because it can be like framing a house and you're just using like shitty pieces of fucking dog shit 2x4 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But there's another level to it, you know what I'm saying? It's making shit that you want to make. And when you make shit that you want to make, you pick wood isn't the cheapest wood that you can possibly get your hands on. You pick a wood that is what you're going for, you know? And so I mean, it's a whole thing in itself, just learning about the characteristics of wood. You know, a lot of our audience might not know dog shit about any of this, but that's okay, because that's what this podcast is about. It's about talking about
it's not like the
anything, but
sexiest subject either.
it's not, but I think it's something provocative because, like what is wood? It's like the fucking tree outside. It's what the skeleton of all of our houses.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to that. If you get into it, you can go down the rabbit hole and see that different hardwoods will have different size grain. They'll have different color characteristics. They'll have different, even like if you want to paint it or stain it, certain woods will take paint more.
Different like acceptance levels.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're talking about the grain too, remember how you were saying that when you get a house and you get a garage, you want to have a knife throwing section.
Yep,
that
absolutely.
Goes with the grain or something like that.
Yeah, in grain.
In grain, yeah, because that grain accepts the knife easier, right?
Yeah. So in knife throwing, the most popular targets are in grain, and if that's END grain. I know I can't fucking talk very well. I got big lips and
We're
shit.
drunk.
I got big lips and shit, but
Look at them big ass lips.
but yeah, end grain. So like if you'll see like a lot of people like to throw at cross cuts of like logs, like turned sideways. You know, have you seen that?
Yeah.
They'll take like logs, like cut and then turn sideways.
Yeah.
And that's the end grain. And essentially what it is, if you imagine a tree,
It's the inside of it.
it's the inside of it. But so if a tree is alive and standing, the grain is running up and down in the tree. The grain is like the tree's veins, you know? So if you try to throw cross grain, which means that like, so say if the tree is standing up and down and you throw a knife at the tree while it's standing up and down, well, not only is it curved, so that's going to be an additional resistance,
Yeah.
but the grain, the knife has to wedge between the grain, where if you cut the tree in half and then you turn it sideways, you have like all these points for which the knife to go into. Am I drunk or what? For which the knife to go into. But you know what I'm saying? But like that's the craziness of wood.
It just highlights the almost infinite number of characteristics of wood itself.
Yeah.
Least of which, in my opinion, is the tone. Wood has all sorts of different types of characteristics of things that we can use in everyday life that make our lives better.
Yeah.
I think sound is the least of which, but I love that we live.
I think you're being modest.
Well, I love the fact that
I think it's to you and me and to a lot of people, it might be the most important.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love the fact that we live in an age that it's not something that we don't have to consider it.
We don't have to consider it as a life or death.
Yes, we don't have to
Like
consider this.
Maple's too hard. We can't build our houses out of it because we'll die because it's too fucking hard to shape.
Or it's like this is the best type of wood to use to prevent our harpoons from snapping when we're hunting down buffalo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We live in a period of time where we can appreciate all the accentuated features of these things that have kept us alive for millennia. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we get to really enjoy the minutia of these different substances. And again, to my ears and to what the majority of the industry appreciates, maple is that wood when it comes to guitars, when it comes to drums, when it comes to bass. I mean, woodwind instruments, you name it. So
For sure, when it comes to guitars, I can tell you that without a doubt, maple is my favorite wood.
Yeah.
And for electric, at least. For an electric guitar, at least a maple top, right, is extremely important to me. The only drawback I can tell you about maple...
Heavy as shit.
Yep.
It is heavy as
Yep.
shit, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. My kit is...
Yeah, but you don't have to hold it while you play.
That's true. That's very, very true. I got to lug that shit in and out, though, every single night on tour.
Yeah, I was supposed to help you back in the day, but...
Yeah, you redeemed yourself on the Pseudo Future tours because you actually did help me out,
Yeah,
which is
man.
great. But
I did.
like my
help with lights.
I forget what it's called, but like you can choose the thickness of the shells that you want. The thinner the shell, the bassier the sound.
Really? I would have thought it would have been the other way around.
No. The thinner, it's almost like a glass of water filling up. The more water fills up, the higher pitched the sound becomes. You know, so like if you're pouring water into it, you can hear it increasing in pitch. So it's the same.
Or if you lick your finger and like rub it on top.
Exactly. Yeah,
If it's real crystal.
It's the exact same thing.
Like Legally Blonde.
It's the same thing.
No, not Legally Blonde. Miss Congeniality, sorry.
It's the same thing with wood too. So the thicker the shell is, the higher pitch the tone is. So you can have in like today's industry, the deeper sounding tone for your drums is more sought after, but it's almost like a studio only type thing because a thin shelled kick drum is really easy to crack. It's really easy to break.
Wait, okay. The thin shelled kick?
Yeah, you name it. A thin shell kick, tom, snare, you name
Well, I
it.
guess it makes sense if it's thin, it would be easy to break.
I'm talking.
Have
dude,
you ever broken a kick?
I have, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my
It seems crazy because, like, I can't
no,
imagine
not from playing it, but from
like
standing on
dropping
it.
it.
Yeah, well, from standing on
But
it.
like, I can imagine you breaking a snare by playing it.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, when Alex says that I hit really hard, I hit hard, and I know it's not good for the instrument itself. I know it's not proper technique, but it's the only way that I know. It's I get so into it that I will bleed. I'll break sticks. I'll break cymbals. I'll break snares. You name it. I've broken hoops on my toms before. I've broken heads while playing it. The worst one ever was breaking my kick head at a Six Flags show. But yeah, so you know you get a really beefy ass sounding kit with super thin wooden veneer, and if say the lead singer decides to step on it,
Which they do.
All the time.
And if your lead singer isn't Shane,
If you cave,
who
who weighs 17 pounds,
maybe 110.
yeah, maybe soaking wet. If you step on that kick and you cave that thing in, the show's over. So when it comes to choosing the proper custom kit, always make sure that you're choosing it for your profession. If you're doing it at home and you want a beefy sounding kit, there is nothing wrong with having a super thin veneered ashwood kit. Save you some damn money, and it sounds super beefy, and it sounds super damn good.
Yeah. If you're gigging,
if you're planning on touring, you want a decently thick maple kit because it's gonna withstand the road, and it's also gonna sound really good. If for some reason you're gonna be gigging 365 days of the year, you're gonna want the thickest possible veneer that you can get, and it's gonna sound. It's probably not going to sound like you want it. So what happens is you compensate for because of the thickness, you're going to make the diameter much bigger. So like you could have a 26-inch kick drum and you're going to have a freaking 14-inch rack tom. And you can have an 18-inch floor tom.
Let's be honest though, if that's the case, you probably have roadies to fucking carry that shit around.
Let's hope you have roadies because I have a 24-inch kick. It's a 24 by 20. And that shit it's not light. It's not easy to fit through anything. It is so big that we had to keep it inside of the main cabin in the RV all the time, and it just sat there in the way of everything.
In my camping space.
In his camping space, in the way of everything. It's just that damn big. So when it comes to these custom drum companies, make sure you're choosing the right one. Make sure you're choosing the right wood. You're choosing the right diameter. It's also super cool because, again, like I said, you can customize the way that your material looks. You can customize the acrylic. You can have custom paint jobs. The coolest thing about my drum company that I decided to go with, AJP Drums, is they gave me the ability to choose what paint job I wanted, which was a custom paint job by the owner. What lugs I wanted, what screws I wanted, what heads I wanted, what hoops I wanted, what spurs. I chose every single.
Now you're just making up words.
I chose every single facet of that drum kit, and there's not another one like it in the world. So if you are planning on becoming a drummer, or you just want a really cool kit to call your own, you will never go wrong with a reputable custom drum company who is willing to work with you and make your dream a reality. There's guitar companies too. There's a band that we toured with, the very first band, A Brilliant Lie, and the bassist, Nick Scout. He's got his own brand of guitars and basses called Scout Guitars. And the guy, like, he's doing some big shit with that. He's making all of his own custom guitars. He's refinishing, completely, re-energizing old guitars. Like, he's fixing everything. This guy.
Where is he based out of?
Florida, Orlando.
Florida?
Nick Scout in Orlando, Florida.
So yeah, let's go ahead and send him some love, idiots. So
yeah, you want you a custom guitar or bass?
You know what this means.
That's the guy to reach out to. You want your old shitty piece of shit, stupid, dumb shit guitar and or bass and or uke and or violin to be refinished, completely fixed, have a fresh breath of life.
You know what I'm doing?
Breathe into it. Oh, God damn it. Reach out to Nick Scout. He's gonna make it all right for you because the guy is super good at what he does. He's also super handsome. His dick tastes so good. He's the best. Oh, I got to that. Yeah, he saved Pseudo Future on our first tour. He is the only reason that we stayed alive for like a damn week.
Like a day.
Yeah, like a day. Dick in the mouth, you know.
We're so fat and we were hungry, and he was like, "You want some Ritz Pieces?"
Yeah, he gave us Reese's Pieces and
no Ritz
Pieces. He gave us Ritz Pieces. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you
and you were like, "You got cheese?" And he was like, "No, I only got peanut butter." And you're like,
that'll work. If you're planning on making music and
music great again
and an instrument yours, whatever instrument you're playing, check out one of the custom companies for said instrument.
Especially guitar.
I will only speak to drums because I've not had the ability to buy any other custom instrument. But AJP Drums has been fantastic to me. Nestor there has worked with me. He made my dream a reality. He worked with my difficult ass to make the perfect kit, and there's not another one like it in this world. There's not another one in this world that I would ever hope or wish to have. It sounds perfect. It looks perfect. It is my kit. A guitar, again, check out Scout Guitars. You want the perfect custom guitar, check his ass out. This day and age, it's about making what you love to do your own. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing about it. You don't have to just abide by the rules anymore. You don't have to just go with a massive company anymore just because they have the biggest variety or they have
to pick an off the shelf factory, just whatever everybody has, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Those are great and fantastic, but there really is something magical, something spiritual. And this probably sounds gay to non-musicians, but if you're a musician that you kind of understand that there's something on a deeper level with you and your musical instrument. It's not just a tool to you. It's almost like I could liken it to like a samurai sword. You know, it's your like your soul is in it. Not like in a satanic way, but it's like, you know what I mean? So
I have asked you many a time to sell me your Les Paul, and every single time you said, "No, man, that's my guitar."
Yeah, my Les Paul. As much as I've been talking about playing guitar, I'm a little sad with myself for I've very much fallen in my guitar playing. I'm not really happy with my progress of guitar playing, but that's okay, man, because life is about that, you know. Stuff that you love, you're gonna do it your whole life, and your life is ups and downs, and so that's what things that you love will be, you know. So for right now, I'm on a down with guitar playing, but I haven't actually played my Les Paul. Well, because I don't have an amp. I don't have a good amp, at least. I don't have a tube, a half stack like I used to. I haven't played it in probably 5 years. It just sits in my closet. But I will never sell it. I will never ever sell it, even if I'm starving and I'm on death's door, and somebody comes up and they're like, "I'll give you $10,000 for that like $1,000 guitar." I still won't sell it because it has so much sentimentality.
Sentimentality, yeah.
You know, it's just like in a non-satanic way, a piece of my soul resides in that guitar. You know, it's when you express yourself creatively, yeah, through an instrument. It's almost like there's a union that happens there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why custom instruments are so crucial. Even if you're not a gigging musician, even if playing music isn't your job, it's you know, even if you're just some kind of like midlife crisis, you just, you know, picked it up to relive the good old days, having that tonality, and you can just lose yourself in it, you know?
Yeah. One of the biggest custom drum...
The moment you're gone, but you never let it go.
One of the biggest custom drum companies is SJC Drums, and they've been making waves in the custom drum and just overall drum industry in general.
Drum.
Yeah, and they, more often than not, they post photos of just regular people, regular drummers who don't even play in bands, that just kind of play in their own houses. They post photos of them receiving their kits. They post videos of them playing their kits. You know, they it's almost like an outreach program. Like they decide to, you know, because when it comes to music, it's such a beautiful thing that anybody who decides to take part in it is a soldier on the front line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the coolest things about these custom drum companies is that they are afforded the ability to really showcase those that you would have never heard about otherwise.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So I think that's the case with a lot of just custom companies in general, you know, whether it be guitar, whether it be dressers. I mean, I don't know, just custom companies in general. They are always afforded the ability to highlight and showcase those people who are just in the endeavor for the love of the project in general that you never would have heard of otherwise. And that's one of the coolest things about these custom drum companies is that they really get the chance to highlight those things. Because I'm a musician that you probably never would have heard of otherwise, but I mean, now I've got a beautiful kit that you might follow this kit. You know, you might have seen this on AJP's website, follow and have gotten to me and have gotten to my band and figured out, you know, and have gotten to
And
see
his podcast.
yeah, and eventually my podcast, yeah. But you might know me just because you appreciate the just the I don't know, the build quality of this type of thing, and just the magic that is making music, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it went a lot a lot longer than I thought it would. I didn't think
Both of ours did.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are interested in wood or just custom drums or custom
That's okay.
instruments.
That's not what this is.
But this is something that I'm extremely interested in. This is something that I have had the pleasure of I don't know, going through the process, because even going through said process of making sure the paint was right, making sure the lugs were right, making sure every single screw was exactly what I wanted was painstaking, but it was ultimately rewarding, and it was ultimately something that I can call my own. Not just the outcome, the kit itself, but the experience. This was my experience having this kit made for me and only me. So I hope you can understand that this is something that transcends, I don't know, just normal consumerism and just the average person that just decides to start a band. This is something that is almost ingrained in me as a human being and as a citizen of the earth. I don't know how to explain it. There's not a lot of ways to explain this type of thing, but this is, I have my weapon now to do with what I please, to do what I feel like I'm put on this earth to do, and it is my weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you know what I mean. I hope you understand what I mean. It's different, man.
You use guys out there.
Yeah. Imagine something that you are absolutely head over heels in love with, and then just imagine the customized version of that is perfect in every way according to your specifications.
Yeah, and it literally does transcend a lot of different aspects, like between just the craftsmanship, between being a musician, being an audiophile, being a, what have you, just, even just a consumer.
Yeah.
Being a hobbyist. It's on a lot of levels something that's beautiful. And, people who don't understand or who think that this is boring, I challenge you to find something that is that transcendent. And it might sound like we're making a big deal about it, and I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I guess not that big a deal, but it really is. It really is a big deal because the only thing I can liken it to is a samurai sword. So if you don't know, like, samurais in the day, like, that's a big deal, man. Their sword is their soul is in their sword. Like, that's their spirit. It's not just your instrument. It's not just a tool.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a lot of things. It's a tool. It's an extension of yourself. It's on a lot of levels. As a carpenter, the craftsmanship, as a woodophile, you got the wood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just even the wood of it. Just even the just how personal it is. Like you see people all the time who put stickers all over shit. That's because they want to make just random shit their shit. It's like, okay, a lot of people
That's such a good point.
A lot of people have Honda Civics, but not everybody has "Not of This World" sticker and pissing on a "Not of This World" sticker, and and you know what I'm saying, pissing on a Honda Civic and Trump pence. And like all these stickers on their cars or on their laptops or whatever, and it's because of this sense of individuality, where you're doing something that other people have done, but nobody has done it how you have done it, and
Yeah.
so you don't want to just do it with whatever anybody has done it with. What you do, the music you make is as much a signature as your samurai sword that you're making it
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, think about it. A samurai's sword back in the day was his life. It literally
Yeah.
gave him the ability to live by protecting himself
Or die.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not as dramatic as it sounds, but it's something that it just transcends everyday being and understanding. I think I'll never stop making music, and I'll never sell that kit. The only time I would ever sell that kit is if something terminal happened to my close family. That is it. If something terminal happened to me myself, that doesn't matter. Something terminal happened to my family, I'd sell the kit. Other than that, that is my kit for life. And I think there are a lot of things that you can equate to that would help you to understand what that means and how people like us actually feel about that.
We probably sound like a bunch of drunken homosexuals right now, but
What are you?
it really is a big deal, you know.
It's huge, man. It's a huge deal. Yeah, and it seems like, oh, it's just a drum set. No, that is my drum kit. That is my person. That's my personal kit. He would not sell me his Les Paul because that is his Les Paul. There's some man, just equate it to your baby blankie or your teddy bear, or I don't know, whatever the shit it is that meant something to you, that was your personal thing that you just refuse to give up or sell to somebody else.
But even another step further, because imagine it's your baby blankie that allowed you the ability of speech. And if you didn't have your baby blankie, you couldn't talk.
Yeah. Okay.
And like
so
maybe if you had another baby blankie, you could talk in somebody else's voice, but you couldn't talk in your own voice.
yeah, utilitarian. Shit. What's it called? It's like a utilitarian love for the one thing that you are able to relate to. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
A utilitarian nostalgia, I guess you would call it, because it works for you. It pushes you along in your life, yet you would not trade it for the world, and that is what my drum kit is to me. That is what a lot of these other drum kits from these other custom companies, these other custom guitar companies. I mean, you name it. These customized personifications of you, what those things are to you. And
yeah, for sure.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's where I want to end it off before I go into
Before we keep going,
rage-fueled rant about how you possibly couldn't understand what I'm talking about.
You dipshits.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So there we have it.
Try harder.
That's all we got for big ass, gargantuan, massive episode 25.
Big boy episode 25.
Man, we're halfway to 50.
We got drunk and we got halfway to 50.
We got drunk and halfway to 50. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hop into some fan feedback.
Some user feedback.
I don't know why I keep saying user, but we got a voicemail this week, my man. Looks like Milkman Danny did his job and sent us a voicemail.
Good job, Milkman.
Probably because it was funny. So I guess the person who left the voicemail did their job by being funny, and Milkman Danny decided to send it to us because of that. Yeah, if you're not funny, you're not going to get through to us.
Yeah, so good luck with that shit.
Yeah. So you've heard of this man before.
Hey, y'all guys' podcast is hella good. It's just y'all missing a very tasteful piece, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with it. You should probably just add a little more Hugh Jackman into it, and a little less of everything else, and then a little spice of Hugh Jackman in there, and then you can add the rest of it in there.
Okay.
But then a little more of Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
That right there.
Okay.
That's it right there.
Okay.
That's it. That's that good. That's it.
Yeah. So thanks. I want to call him Huge Jack Fan. If you're okay with me calling him that. Yeah,
right.
he called him before. His voicemail was.
I remember on the Robbie episode.
No, it was the day after. It was the episode after Robbie's because he was like, "Who the f is Robbie?" Because Robbie
he was talking shit about Logan.
Robbie hates Logan, like some sort of weird alien human being or something. This man loves Hugh Jackman, so huge Jack fan. We've heard you,
Huge Jack fan.
Hey, guess what? Hugh Jackman. Hopefully that's enough for you to jack off to Hugh Jackman.
Wait, hold on. I gotta make this. That's not good enough. I gotta make this episode good because it's been dog shit up until now. But for a Huge Jack fan, I'm gonna make it good. Hugh Jackman, he's Australian. Did you know that?
I did.
All right, let's move on.
There it is. Hopefully, Huge Jack fan has huge jack off with his hand to huge,
possibly Huge Jack.
To Huge Jack fan talking about Hugh Jackman. Yeah. So there you go. Hopefully that's enough. That's enough Hugh Jackman for you because the more you want it, the more we'll do it. So yeah, if you want to leave a voicemail for us talking about a very creepy subject like being in love with Huge Jackman or
Huge Jackman.
Yeah, Huge Jackman or anything else like that, you can do that at 682-422-9458. Call us wrong, call us idiots, call us, dare I say, retarded.
Whoa,
yeah. It's you might not be able to say that nowadays, but
call
also
us Justyn and Alex.
Call us and tell us why we can't actually say that word anymore. That's an interest for another day for sure. Or if you don't want us to make fun of your voice, you can email us at idiotsyncraticpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
Please.
This show is about the...
tell us if you love us. Tell us if you hate us. Tell us what you want to hear more about.
Yeah.
You know, tell us if you want to hear our hot, steamy takes on a specific subject.
We got a lot of hot, steamy takes.
We have yet to get a subject besides Hugh Jackman that people want to hear our opinions on, and I'm curious to hear what people want us
to talk about,
to
right?
steam on.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, to steam on, to like really get up inside, you know? Like if somebody is like, "Hey, I want you to talk about the American plumbing system."
Yeah,
I'm going to go and I'm going to put my
spread his asshole.
I'm going to go and put my hand down my toilet and figure out, holy shit, this is the thingamajig, this is the flux capacitor, this is the thingamabob. I'm going to figure out how the American plumbing system works, and I'm going to bring it onto this show and tell you stupid assholes about how that works and how...
I'm talking about my
asshole. Yeah, so there it is. Reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you hate us, if you love us.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, okay, so I said we need 1,700 trillion 5-star ratings on iTunes. We're not even anywhere close to that, and I just can't help but think that you guys aren't trying hard enough. So let's get this shit going. Give us the 5-star ratings. Give us the reviews.
Give us to your friends.
Give us to your friends, yeah.
Steal their phones and subscribe on their phones.
Yeah, I've done that before one time. So we have one.
I may or may not have never or always have done that.
Shit, see, look. Oh, hey, I'm glad to see you're back from China. How was it?
Oh, I'm alive.